Yes, I'm just going to end it, I'm going to end the podcast on this positive note about, like I be saying, I've been through it, been there, done that, gang bang, dope slang and all that, new license, got my hands dirty and all that, but I'm going to tell these young brothers one thing, and I wish you young brothers to listen to what I'm saying, and pay attention. I'm not getting on this podcast spreading no rumors about I know, no, none of that. I'm telling you like this, and I tell anybody, if you don't know your rights, you ain't got none. I know my rights now. I got I'm fully aware of my rights. And like I say, if you don't know your rights, you ain't got none. Period. So you gotta learn how to use that pen and paper to win. Because other than that, you don't stand a chance, brother. You don't stand a chance. And like I said, I've been around all the street gang bangers. I went to the Funk Festival at the Coliseum. When Stanley and Jamel was running, everybody seen them. They was the two biggest brothers in LA at the time. Stanley and Jamel, we was at the Funk Festival at the Coliseum. So how far I go back. And the thing about Stanley, he changed. Jamel didn't change. But one thing about Stanley that really blew my mind is big as he was, he had a real soft voice. Like a whisper. you know. And that's how he got my attention all the time when he started talking. It wasn't like he trying to be, and then when he got in prison and he started writing children books, changing his life. And like I say, that was one of the guys I looked up to when I was coming up, when I was in his boys' home. We went to Watts Festival, we went to the Watts Stag, I did all that, you know what I'm saying? I'm a day one, first generation banger, But I'm just saying, putting that aside, again, I say again, if you don't know your rights, if you don't know your rights, you ain't got none, brother. And I'm gonna pray for you. And I just went over there, and that's all I'm talking about. You're something proactive, something to benefit the brother. Like I say, Crip, community revolution and progress. When you got Venus Williams doing the Crip walk at the Wimbledon. And you got Snoop Dogg doing the Crip walk at the Super Bowl. That's a revolution. Ain't nobody in the world would ever thought a girl from Compton staying in track new neighborhood would ever be Crip walking at the Wimbledon. That's unbelievable. And Snoop Dogg coming out of Long Beach, Crip walking and dies left with the Super Bowl. Man, come on, that's community revolution and progress, my brother. I made law. Tupac, Biggie Small, Nipsey Hussle, Tony Bogart, all them with scripts. Community revolution and progress. That's what I mean about Crip. And I'm not downrating the dime moves that I always was called when I was growing up. What's up, young blood? What's up, young blood? I grew up when that was just a figure of speech before it changed into something else. But we gonna get it all that in my Tony Bogart podcast. We gonna set the record straight about this crippin'. That's one thing we're gonna do. Each one teach one. That's how it's gonna be. And if I speak on something I don't know about, I'm only gonna speak on something that I do know about. And that's the way I was raised and who I grew up with. I'm not throwing nobody out there, I'm throwing myself out there. So, anybody, if I get something incorrect, I'm open because, like I say, a person that know everything got a lot to learn. So if I'm gonna be checked, somebody could come on the podcast and check me and set the record straight. You know what I'm saying? We got an open door policy at the Tony Bobo Foundation podcast. But it's only gonna be the real. It ain't gonna be none of that fake news.